Hello, Miss Jackson.
How are you?
I'm well and yourself. Um, I'm just setting up everything and I'm gonna open it up. Hopefully we'll be able to start at 6. You know how people are.
Right.
So um we didn't get many sign-ups this time. We only got 15. So I guess you have done such a great job that nobody needs a license anymore.
Okay. Well, we hope that's all it is. I hope I didn't scare anybody off.
Say what?
Hope I didn't scare anybody off.
You ain't no. I don't think you scared them off. Now it's just that I I just think that I don't know about business people in Augusta. So, but it is what it is. So I'm about to start the webinar. We were in a practice session. It's being recorded, so it's going to stream to our YouTube page and our Facebook page. So people who may not be on Zoom will be able to see it from there and go back and watch it as well. So, so you and Mr. Boyd. Hello, Mr. Boyd. How you doing today?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. Doing quite well. So y'all are in the same room, so
Say
that makes
again.
it better.
In the same room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So how do you want me to do this, Miss Jackson? You want me to advance the slides for you, or you want how would you want it done?
How is the phone?
Well, if you want us to do it, then you will have to open it up and then you have to allow us to share screen.
I can do that with whichever one y'all want.
I have to control the slides.
Would it be less? Would it be if we have to do too much to get us to control it? Then not. You can. I think you did it last year. It was okay, right?
Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, I don't have a problem. I can get it done.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get out of anything and end up not it took us long enough to get in this thing. I don't want to come out of it and have to do anything different just for me to control it.
Okay. All right. No problem.
But I got everything right here in front of me, but I just don't want to mess up anything.
Okay. I can make it work. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. No problem at all.
What I understand from Kevin, I have to come out and go back in.
Oh, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Okay, you want me to do it?
No, I got it. I just needed to ask so I would know. I got it teed up so whenever I do the introductions and everything, I would then give it to you. Okay? So it is 5:59. So it is 6:02. We are going to go on and get started. I'm going to allow our board chair to bring greetings, and then we will go get into the presentation after we take care of that. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the CSRA Business League workshop this evening. Glad that you can join us. I am going to allow our board chair, Ms. Sharif, to give some greetings, and afterwards I will talk about a couple of events that we have forthcoming and go from there. Ms. Sharif, you can unmute yourself and bring greetings.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. We do thank you for joining our License and Business Seminar this afternoon. And we want to say special thanks to Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd for bringing the presentation to you today. And we are so thankful that you all have uh, agreed to come and bring and help us with our seminars. I also want to thank all of you virtually that sign on for your continued support to the Business League. And we hope that you will continue to join us and take note to the two other events that Mr. Albright have put on our screen, our Women's Empowerment and our annual Business League banquet. So keep those things in mind and just know that we do thank you for all of your support because we would not be able to do what we do without you. So we just thank you. And to us, CEO, Mr. Albright, I want to thank him for putting this together and doing such a professional and wonderful job in what he does, because we could not do this without him. So, again, thanks to all of you who have joined this afternoon. Please take note of the information that he's sharing on the screen about our women's empowerment group that will be on October the 5th, the 17th at 5:30 p.m. So he's got all the information there. Our 53rd annual awards banquet. We just look forward to all of the events and we look forward to seeing you. And we do greatly appreciate all of you for coming on. And we especially thank our presenters this afternoon, Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd. So, further ado, I turn it back to Mr. Albright. Thank you all, and I know that you will find some interesting information that you can use in your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Cherie. So again, I thank you and I thank Miss Cherie for bringing greetings. As she stated, our 11th annual Women Empowerment Conference will take place on the 17th of October at 5 o'clock p.m. Is when we will open the doors. We will start at 5:30 at St. Paul's Church in the River Room. It would be either you can come in person or you can either join us via Zoom. So we have two ways. We are making this a hybrid event. The event is free, and it's always been an enjoyable event for us. The next one is our 53rd anniversary banquet, which will be held on Friday, November the 23rd at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Augusta Marriott Hotel and Suites. We will be announcing our speaker very soon, so be on the lookout for that. But you can sign up for tickets, advertisements, and everything on Eventbrite. As you can see, full page ads are 200, half page 100. So all this information will be disseminated again via email. But please join us as we celebrate our 53rd anniversary of helping those in the CSRA. So without further ado, Miss Jackson and Mr. Boyd, who has always brought us great work and has always been available to talk about those things of how you can start your business, what you need for your business, what you need for, as you can say, home-based businesses. If you have a Airbnb, all those things they're going to talk about this evening. So without further ado, Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd, I've turned it over to you, and all you have to do is tell me when to switch the slide.
Well, thank you, Mr. Albright. As always, thank you for joining us and wanting to learn more about the requirements for business licenses. We have so many people that start that journey not knowing what the requirements are, only to sometimes hit a disappointing brick wall by not having the required documents. So all of you who have joined us today, I thank you for taking the interest in wanting to learn the requirements. Currently, we have several different ways to obtain a license, several different locations, I should say. We have a location at 1803 Marvin Griffin Road, and we have a location at the Telfair Street building, 535 Telfair Street in the municipal building. We're located on the 3rd floor. The third place is called, of course, it's online. You can go online and obtain a business license application. Once you get to our webpage, you go to the section that says, "How do I?" And I'm saying it goes to obtain a business license. It walks you through from there. So those are 3 locations that you can go to get an application to start your business license. Okay, you can advance. Okay, so here's the interesting part. When is a license required? A lot of people get confused on when or if they should have a license based on what they're doing. The best way to know that you need a license is once you start charging and obtaining revenue from your sales and services. If it's just a hobby and you're making something that someone happens to like and you sell it to them, well, that constitute having a business license. Or if you just do something once in a while and so you charge someone for it, that's not a business license requirement. But please remember, once you start advertising, letting people know that you're doing this business, that you're putting your fees out there, you're letting people know that you are in business. Once you start earning revenue and advertising for your sales and services, that's when you need to contact us. Anytime there's revenue received from any sales and services, that's the time we say, "Oh, I need a business license." Now, once you obtain that business license, there are several, you can go to the next slide. There are several documents that are going to be required. The next slide will speak to that. There's several documents that you're going to need, and that's a application, of course. Then you're going to need a document called a SAVE document, and we'll talk about what those documents mean and what we require you to do for them. You're going to need an E-Verify, and there may be other documents required based on the type of business that you're running. But again, today our objective is to let you know what all businesses need in order to get started with a business license. As you come to us with the type of business that you have, if there are any additional documents required, we'll let you know at that time. But these are the things that you will see readily on our website as you go to fill out an application. Now, the SAVE application, that's, let me see if we're going to advance a couple of slides here. Both those are documents that are required, but what is a SAVE document? You can skip that one, all right. What is us? You can go ahead, next couple of slides. These are other documents that are required, the bond and insurance. If you're a contractor, you're going to need bond, insurance, and date card, and things like that. But that's just basically for contractors. Again, that's not something that all the businesses will need, but we get a lot of questions from contractors and what's required for them. And that's why that slide was there, maybe a lot of place there. But if you're a contractor, you're going to need bond, insurance, and date card. Again, next slide, if you want to advance one more, right? What is a SAVE? A SAVE document, SAVE stands for Systematic Alien Verification Entitlement. Basically, this is saying that you are a U.S. citizen and here legally and can obtain what we call the benefit from our department. And in this case, the benefit would be your business license. So once you fill out that form, get it signed and notarized, it has to be notarized. That form lets us know that you are legally here and are entitled to receive our business license. The next slide talks about the verify document. So what is an E-Verify document? Basically, this is the best means for determining the eligibility and citizenship of new hires. That lets us know that when you have hired your employees, that you are making sure that they are legal citizens and can be here to work legally. Once you do that, we don't have to check any further. We know that you've done that once we get that E-Verify form. So that's very important that business fill out that E-Verify form. You can't issue a license without either of those forms. Okay, so the location requirements. The next thing people need to understand or knowledge that they will need to know is that if you have a commercial location for your business, we need to know that we are issuing a license to a location that you are authorized to be in. We need to see a copy of your lease, your deed, or a sales contract to show that you are authorized to occupy that building. The other thing that we will need, if you decide to do your business from home, you would have to obtain a special use permit. Now, this is something Mr. Boyd is going to go into a little bit more in great detail later on. But in order for us to issue a business license from your home, you have to obtain a special use permit. And that also is here in our department. It's a separate division within our department, but we're in the same building. Also, we can also have you can also have a license in another city in Georgia. As long as you have a current license in another city in Georgia, we will honor that, because you are only required to pay what's called an occupation tax once in the state that you're in. And if you can show proof by copy of another business license, that shows us that you paid your occupation tax in the state of Georgia. And what we will do is get all other required documents that we need from you, such as if you, again, going back to the contractor, if you are a contractor, you will still need to see copies of your bond, insurance, state cards, and things like that, so that we know for our benefit that you have those things. But once you show us a copy of your business license from another city in Georgia, we won't charge you occupation tax. We will only charge you for a decal if you're going to have a truck or several trucks running, work trucks running in our city. We will issue decals, and they're $4 each. Now, we will charge for those. And that's way, if you're on a job and any of our inspectors need to contact you or stop you for anything, they can see that this business has registered with us because you have that decal on your vehicle. So that goes along with the proof of current license. Now, the next slide talks about how much your business license will cost. Well, there's not one set fee for a business license. We can't tell you that your license is going to cost $100 and this person is going to cost something else. We have to know what your gross revenue is. What we will do once you fill out your application, we will ask you to give an estimated gross revenue. We understand that you're not going to know exactly what you're going to make your first year, but all business licenses are based on gross revenue. So your first time getting a license here, it would be based on an estimated growth. What we will do after that is each year that you renew that license, we will ask you what you made for that year, and the cost of the license is based on that information. Other fees will be flat fees based on the fact that you are a professional. And what we mean by professional is not that, hey, I'm good at what I do, I'm a professional. When we speak of professional, we're talking about doctors, lawyers, architects, anything that you would have to have gone to some training and obtained a state license for. Those are the type of things that we consider professional businesses. Funeral home directors, there's a list of them, but those are just the types of businesses, lawyers, doctors, and things like that. They have the option of choosing whether to pay based on gross revenue or the flat fee. But if you don't have that qualification, you can't choose the flat fee. And each year when you renew, now you can change if you're a professional. Say this year I want to pay flat fee, but before you get your license for the next year, when it's time to report the gross revenue, you have to let us know that, hey, I do want to be billed on gross, or I do want to be billed at a flat fee. So as a professional, you have the option to change from year to year. And there's an administrative fee included in that fee. For instance, the gross revenue, anything from say $1 up to say $30,000, you might pay $125. Within that $125, there is an administrative fee already included. So it's not an separate fee. When you hear us talk about administrative fee, it is included in the fee that we quote.
Two questions, Ms. Jackson. The
Mhm.
first one is, will barbers and cosmetologists fall up under that fee as well?
Well, they will have to also give us a copy of their state license. They don't get the flat fee for professionals. Unfortunately, again, we're talking about doctors, lawyers, architects, funeral home directors. Um, it's a list of them, but no, cosmetology is not on that list. They don't get the opportunity to choose flat fee or professional, but they do have to give us copies of the state card to show that they are a licensed cosmetologist or barber. They will, and I think I'm going to be coming up on that for some of the other slides, but yes, they won't be considered what we call professional. And when in doubt, just ask us, and we'll let you know if that type of business is on the list of what we consider professional.
So, is a tax professional considered in that fat fee?
Yes, uh, tax professional, attorneys, no, not attorneys, tax preparer, yes.
Okay. And finally, not for profit organizations.
Okay,
Are they required to have a license?
yes, they are. What we did, they're just not, they're exempt from the occupation tax. If you're a nonprofit, you won't have to pay the occupation tax, but you will have to meet all other requirements that that type business has to have. It's based on what your type business is, we will let you know what requirements you need to meet and what documents you need to have for that business. We will still need all of that, but you will be exempt from the fee if you have that 501c. Okay, so we've kind of talked about that already. What's considered a professional business, those are the type things like jobs and lawyers, things like that. Okay, so in the past, we've had people that go to the flea market. They come to us and want to know if they need a business license or not. Well, typically, if you're just working at the flea market, you go there and you pay a fee to rent a table for the day. You don't need a business license. You can go there on the weekend, you can rent a table for Saturday, Sunday, or whatever. You're paying them a fee to obtain that table for the day. You don't need a business license from us. Now, when you do need a license from us, if you go there and they have a space available that you're going to be renting, and you pay them to rent that spot, now we are going to need you to get a business license at that point because you are a separate business at that time. You're not paying them a fee for the day to be there. You're paying for a permanent spot that you're going to be running your business from. What we will require at that time is a copy of the receipt where you paid them to run your business from there. At that time, we will give you the application, and again, based on the type of business that you need, that you're running, we'll tell you the document that we need from it. But again, all of the businesses are going to have that application that's saved and verified. So yes, you need a business license if you're renting a permanent spot. If you're renting a table for the day, you do not. Okay. Now we talked a little bit about the not-for-profit businesses already. So there again, to reiterate what I just said, there's no occupation tax to it. You're exempt from paying the occupation tax, but all other requirements apply based on what type of business you run. So, for instance, if you are a contractor, actually going back to the contractors, but just using that as an example, you have the information that you need to show that you are a nonprofit. We won't charge you the occupation tax, but you will still need to show your bond, your insurance, your state card, everything that shows that you are qualified to do that type of business. So you're not exempt from that, but you are exempt from paying the fee. Now, talking about the veterans, do you need a business license again? Yes, you would need a license, but you would need to show us proof that you are a veteran and how much the license will cost, or the license won't cost anything if you can give us that information. But we have to know what the required exemption percentages are. For instance, if you are 10% wartime veteran or a 25% peacetime veteran, you can show us proof of that through the documentation that you obtained to the state or whatever. We have to see that, and that way we can put you in as an exempt license. You still have to meet all the requirements again. You just won't have to pay those application taxes. But any other, now if there's a regulatory fee for the type business that you're running, some businesses have a regulatory fee. if there is a regulatory fee and you're a veteran, you are also exempt from that regulatory fee, occupation tax and any regulatory fee. But if there are any, say something like decals required or fire inspections, things like that, you're not exempt from those fees because that is a separate entity. The fire inspection could be moved to another department. So you collect it, but we can't exempt it from those fees. Okay. Next slide talks about when the license expires. Well, the licenses, they run a calendar year. We actually getting ready now to start sending out what is called our gross revenue request form. If you're anyone that's already on that's on this call that's already in business, you'll probably start seeing those go out in September. And that's what we use to base your license fee on. Once we get that information back in, we enter that information, the gross revenue, it calculates what you owe for the year. And then in December, we'll send out that bill, and you have until January 31st to review without penalty. Once the January 31st comes to pass, you start obtaining penalties and interest. The first fee in February will be a 10% penalty. After that, each month, there is a 1.5% interest that applied to your license fee for every month that you don't renew. And as it goes on, we will eventually come to, we send out an administrative fee for failure to pay, and that's $75. And that goes out, let's see, that typically goes out in May. The first one goes out in May. And if you don't pay by June 1st, then the $75 fee is added. And the next one goes out in July, and there's another $75 fee added. So I kind of skipped around a little bit, but it's just basically, there are fees that are going to accumulate if you don't pay on time. Now, how long does it take to get a business license? Well, typically it's 3 to 5 business days, but if you have everything that's required when you come in, it typically takes less than 3 days. We say 3 to 5, a lot of times it's less than 2 days if you have everything that's required, like your copy of your lease, your bond, your insurance, any of the other documents that we require you to have. If you have that already, you can probably get it within 2 to 3 days. And the reason we can't issue it the same day is because, especially if it's a commercial location, the fire department has to inspect your location. We have to see that there has been a fire inspection before we issue the business license. It also goes through a zoning approval, and again, the board will probably speak a little bit more about that when it gets around to them. But if your business is not in the correct zone for the type business that you're running, you can't issue the business license. So, and if there's anything that they can do, like any special exceptions or anything like that, that's when you get in way past the 3 to 5 days. It takes a while to get the requirements that they need from you to run the business in that location. So I always suggest that people to contact our office once you find your location before you put too much time and money and effort into getting that building ready. Call us and check with the zoning division and let them know where your business is going to be operated, and find out at that point if you can operate that type of business at that location. Because it's sad to see people pour so much money, time, and effort into a building only to come and get the business license to find out I can't operate this business in this zone. So I always suggest that as much as possible, before you really get too deeply involved in your business, just contact our office and tell us what you're doing, where you're doing it, and we can let you know if you're going to be able to meet the requirements and have that business there. But again, approval time is roughly 3 to 5 days, but it can vary based on what you need for the type of business you're operating and what requirements we need to meet if you haven't really been available. Okay. Now the next slide, you can go on to the next one. Okay, what happens, I think we've already talked about this as well. What happens if you don't pay your license fee? Earlier I spoke about the penalties and interest. that's the timeline in which those penalties are applied. You have until January 31st, and beginning February 1st, that's when the first 10% is added. The 1.5 is added at the beginning of each month that your license fee hasn't paid. So it's going to continue to accumulate fees. So the best bet is to go ahead and pay it, or at least make payments on it. It's still going to continue to accrue interest. We only do the penalty once in February. So you don't have an additional 10% each month. 10% is just one time in February, but each month following, you will get that 1.5. You can contact us and say, hey, my license fee is so high, I need to make payment. You can do that as well, but just know that that 1.5 will still add back to your license at the first of each month. There also, I spoke of the $75 past due collection fee. That first one is applied in May. Then there's a second $75 collection fee. And typically we don't get to court all the time. You know, if we can work with you, you're working with us to show that you're making some effort to pay your license fee, you won't get to court. But when you get a year, two years behind, you haven't made any contact with us, you haven't tried to make any payments, you're not working with us, you know, typically that's when we end up taking you to court for operating without a business license. But we do try to work with the businesses as much as possible. Now, in the event that we've gone that far, you find out, we can advance to the next slide now. If you find out that you can't operate your business and you think you need to close it, on the next slide, it talks about how do I close my business. The business can be closed via inspector site visit. Our inspectors, we have business license inspectors that go out to the different businesses. They are all assigned an area within the city of Augusta. They do patrol their areas and they do check with you from time to time to see, you know, if you are operating the type of business that we license you to operate. They do check to see if there's anything that they do to help you. They should be out there, you know, in their business license area. But if they go and do a site visit and see that that license is closed, that's real close that business. There's also on our website, or you can contact our office and say, hey, I am not going to pursue my business, I'd like to close it. There's a close account form that you can download from our website so that we can send you from our office via email, or you can come in and pick one up. So fill out that form and we will close your business. And then also on the form that you get, there's a close my business at AugustaGA.gov that you can click on and go in there and close the business that way. And it'll come directly to our website and you can go in and close your business that way. But do notify us that you have closed, because we're going to continue to call you, continue to send you past due notices, and continue to, you know, contact you. So if you close, best bet is that you just think, just go ahead and let us know. It makes it easier on both sides. Now, there are other departments that will probably contact you. And Mr. Albright, if we can go to the next slide. It talks about the other departments that will possibly contact you. Again, we talked about the fire department already. They will contact you to do an inspection to make sure that your business location meets the fire code. Home-based businesses are not going to have to worry about that, of course. The health, they need things from the health department if you're a business that's serving food or anything like that. Agriculture department, and that's basically like some kinds of seafood and different other things. That's not the only thing, that's just an example. The environmental health department, that could be for people who are doing a motor vehicle repair place, and you have a place where you need to dump the oil when you change the oil and cars like that. Our environmental health division will contact you to make sure that all of those things are in order. Sheriff department, and I would say a good business, a good type of business that sheriff department will be involved in, or business that you open a pawn shop, you know, the sheriff department may, you know, be involved in that, as well as the taxi cab businesses. All of the taxi cab drivers in the city of Augusta have gone through a sheriff department background check, and they have to do this every year. I don't know that they specifically do a background check every year, but I think what they do is issue, they do a cab inspection and let us know that this cab has passed inspection and are able to get the business license. I think they want to make sure that your cab is in top order and all of the different things that they check for. When they have a checklist, and I don't know what's on it, but they will have a checklist with your tax return. Any state board requirements, a good business that would require state board would be the cosmetology businesses and things like that. They want to make sure that you have a state license or a shop license to operate your barber shop or your beauty salon. So if you're a child care business, of course you're going to be contacted by an entity by the name of Right from the Start. They are the ones that regulate child care businesses. So all of those things that require those departments, we will need a copy of that to show that we met those requirements before we can issue you a business license. So with that, all of those requirements, of course, zone is on there, and I'm going to help me once I turn it over to the board. He's going to talk to you about that. At the end of Mr. Boyd's presentation on his questions and things about the home-based businesses and the requirements that they need, if there are any questions at that point, we'll be glad to answer those questions. So at this time, I have completed my presentation, and I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Kevin Boyd to speak to you about zoning requirements, home-based business requirements, and anything else in this area. So, Mr. Kevin Boyd.
All right. Thank you so much, Kathy. Let's talk about home-based businesses. In order to obtain a home-based license, customer must receive approval of a special use permit, or we call for short SUP. Vast majority of times it's $150. There are a couple exceptions for daycares and personal care homes. Those are $250. And so through our special use permit process is an administrative review and approval process. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to be approved. And basically it's a 2-page form that needs to be completed by the applicant. In order to qualify for the special use permit, the applicant, for all home-based businesses, the applicant has to reside in a home. But particular to the home-based business SUP, no more than 25% of the space can be occupied by the business. No signage or exterior indications of the business going on at the property. Home occupation cannot result in inaudible noises, audible noises, detectable vibrations, inordinate illumination or odor. If there are clients or customers being invited to the home, those will not be qualifiers of an SUP, nor will if you intend to have employees. So if you don't meet that criteria, you don't qualify for the SUP process, the administrative review approval, and that would necessitate going before the Board of Zoning Appeals. And as Kathy mentioned, that 3 to 5 day turnaround just goes out the way. The Board of Zoning Appeals is once a month, and the state has the public notice period, so it takes about a month and a half or 45 days. And there's no guarantee approval if you go through the board process, because as you can imagine, there's a group of members on the board that will have to make a majority decision to approve your request if you don't meet the 25%, or you choose to have signage, or you want to have customization. Those are all groups that will have to go before the board for approval, because those are exceptions to what our ordinance requires for home business. And so the other means of achieving home-based business is through commission approval, and that's specific to the personal care homes that we want to have. We have several types of personal care homes. The smaller personal care homes, 0 to 3 clients, can be approved through the SUP, but we have family personal care homes, and congregate personal care homes. Those all require commission approval, and they cannot go through the administrative process. For the BZA, I didn't mention there's a $350 fee for that. If it has to be approved by the commission, it's an $800 fee, and it could be more if it's a higher level home-based use like congregate and personal care home. It may require a rezoning and a special exception, so it could range between $800 and $1,800. Similar to the BZA submittal process for the commission, there's no guarantee that the commission will approve the home business request. So there are different layers. Vast majority of our requests go through and are approved through an SUP. I would say high 90s, probably 98% of them. But you have those groups that want to have a personal care homes, or they want to have an in-tutor home business, or they want to have a home salon. Those requests require either board or commission approval. Takes longer and is not guaranteed. So that's a good overview of the process. And in terms of reviewing for business licenses, as Kathy mentioned, there's a 3 to 5 business day turnaround. When the application is submitted to business license, they encode it in the system, and then once they sort of shoot it out, it goes to the fire department, it goes to zoning. So zoning, what we would do is type in the property address, the local, identify the zoning of the property. If the property is property zoned and has adequate parking, we would generally approve the request. If we need more information, we go reach out to the customer directly. And then basically that's the process. If a plan is submitted for zoning review, and generally we do those online. It's a really quick process, unless we need to go through the zoning process. If the zoning is not proper, we have to go through the zoning process. And again, there's not guarantee that it will be approved, but that is basically a background of what we do on the zoning side. That kind of concludes my perspective on things.
Thank you, sir. So are these the same requirements that somebody's trying to operate an Airbnb, they would need to do the same thing?
Yes, they would need to come in and complete an application. Right now, we do not have an ordinance that governs the Airbnbs. There are a group of people who are going to be meeting or who are already meeting requirements for Airbnb. But right now, we're treating them as rental property. If you're living in the home and renting out a room, you treat it one way. You come and we treat it as rental property. You come in and fill out an application, and we fill out all the gross revenue that you're earning from your renting and things like that. And they're not a fire inspection for those. But if you're not living in the house and you're renting it out for, to stay in 4 weeks at a time or whatever, there is a fire inspection required for that. So it's handled differently based on whether you're living in it or whether you're renting it out. But again, we do give a business license on the ones that you're living in and rent out in. But we don't want to go too much in detail on that because there is a committee right now trying to put together some rules and regulations on the Airbnbs, as we do not have an ordinance to cover it right now. But the numbers that are up on the screen right now, just give us a call, in a couple of months or whatever, if you're looking to do the Airbnb, and we may have more information on it at that time. But right now, we're just treating no government as a problem.
So what do I need to start a city tours business? Is a question.
A city tour?
Yeah, city tour business. Just like doing tours around the city.
Okay.
They want to know, yes.
You're talking about like the Pebble Pub?
Well, I guess you could say that, but similar, let's say they want to do drive a bus and as a tour guide and take people to the different sites around the city.
Okay, now some of that's probably, when you're talking about transportation businesses, some of that's going to go through the sheriff's department just like the taxi cab. When we're talking about transporting people, a lot of that has to go before the sheriff department. Now, once you've met those requirements and things like that, it's going to be the basic business license application, giving us the gross revenue, how much you're going to be making, filling out the safety verify forms and things like that. But again, public transportation, there are a few more documents that are going to be required. I don't have a list of them in front of me right now. That'll be one of the ones that you can call me directly and go to and ask you a few more questions on how your business is going to be run. And some of it, again, is probably going to require some sheriff department approval because you're talking about transport.
So the next question is: Are patrons able to call you prior to purchasing a property to confirm it is zoned for multiple businesses?
Yes, they can call our department and let us know the address of the business. And they can let you know what type of business can be run in that location, so that you won't need any zoning requirements when you come to do the application. They can let you know what the zone is, if it's a professional zone or if it's a P1 or things like that. That's the area Kevin division could tell you that, and if you can do the type of business that you want to do in that zone. And once they approve you, to go ahead and fill out an application with us, because we won't proceed unless that zone enforcement has been approved.
It's a weird way to say this, but we don't limit the number of businesses you can have at a property. You have several different types, but we limit usage of that property, so you can have 3 or 4 different businesses on that property and perfectly fine, but the use that you seek to utilize on the property does not fit the zoning, then you either have to find another location or request to change the zone to fit what you're trying to do. So that's kind of how we do it. It's based on what you're trying to do, not necessarily how many you're trying to do that.
Yeah, once they approve you for the zoning, we would, based on what type business it is, we're going to ask you for the documents that we need for that type of business.
So the next question is: How do we get zoning layout for a parking or playground space?
So what generally is the case with a proposal for a business layout or idea, that would be something that the applicant would have to provide to us. We don't do it in the opposite direction. They will have to provide us with a concept, idea, and layouts. We will review what is submitted to determine if it's in compliance with our regulations. There's many ways to get plans prepared. You can use a surveyor, a landscape architect, a draftsman, and there's you can use an engineering company. The larger projects have to result to an engineering company because we require engineering stamps and all that. Or alternatively, you could reach out to the online platforms, and there's a multitude of different groups and contractors and agencies and groups that would draw the plan for you based on your needs for city staff membership to determine if it's satisfying.
Okay. I don't see any more questions. So let me thank you both for a wonderful presentation. On tomorrow, as always is the case, I will send out a thank you tomorrow to everyone who attended. And please, everyone who's in attendance, please fill out the survey at the end of this once we close out. It will help us for future workshops as well. We thank you for attending. We thank Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd for their time as well. I will include their contact information in the thank you on tomorrow as well. So if you have any additional questions, you would always be able to reach out to them. So don't worry if you didn't get their contact information today. You will have it in the email that will be sent to you tomorrow. With no further questions, again, I thank you, Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd, on behalf of the Board of Directors and staff of the CSRA Business League, for always giving of your time whenever our call, we come up even though it's right after your vacation. It seems like we always make it work. So I thank you again. Do you want me to share your presentation as well in the thank you, or would you just like for them to call you?
Share.
Okay, I would do that. So I would do that and copy you on it. And again, thank you everyone on behalf of the board of directors and staff of the CSRA Business League, Ms. Veronica Sharif, who is our chair. Please keep in mind that you will see links to register for our 11th annual Women's Empowerment Conference. It is free. Refreshments will be served to those in person, and you can also be virtual, as well as our 53rd anniversary banquet. You can also start registering, purchase tickets, and buy ads and sponsorships as well for that. Again, thank you all. Thank you for supporting the CSR Business League. We are giving you back 15 minutes of your day for the first time in many sessions. So thank you, Ms. Jackson and Mr. Boyd. And
Thank you.
again, and again, thank everyone for attending. And you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you.